Alright, welcome back to Blade of the Immortal Anime Review, episode number 2. This was discussing episodes 5 through 10 of the original Blade of the Immortal anime. And despite my best efforts, I could not possibly find any source that tell me, which I would say that definitely 5 covers chapter 4. But as for the rest, pure guessing game, basically, in that part. And of course, basically, like in the case of the last one, let's talk about basically these names. We have Frantic, Cry of the Worm, which this actually was an actual story arc for about 4 or 5 chapters. 3 Ways, The Nail Bomb, let's see, 5, 6, and of course, Changing Face. Most of these episodes, they just encounter various different people. Like, for instance, in the last couple episodes, where basically Manji is fighting a swordswoman who's got passed with the leader of, I think this happens in episode 9. He basically fights a swordswoman who basically is involved with the leader of Injani, the main villain in the first half of the series, where she's got past. And kind of a little bit of his past too, where he apparently was saved by a girl around his age, actually a few years older, from some dangerous dogs. And it's shown in the flashback that apparently his mentor was very angry at the fact he was dared to be saved by a woman. So basically, he kicks her. Of course, he gets hit for it too. And then, of course, he proceeds to leave her hanging on a tree. Now, like hanging basically on a tree branch. Her bleeding. Just to attract some dogs. And when he goes back to check on her, the dogs are dead. And he never sees the woman again, possibly because I think it's implied that the woman in flashback is the same woman in present day. So, in present day, this woman is sort of a prostitute who is also a swordswoman with long black hair. Something very common back then. Also, apparently her whole skin is chalk white. This could be a variety of reasons. Maybe she didn't spend much time outside. It's possible. But she has a skin condition? Not really, no. She, of course, fights Manji in the course of twice of the episode. First time, about partway into the episode, he's like, oh, this beautiful woman. And of course, he looks like he tries to sleep with her until he finds out he basically reaches into her kimono and finds a dagger laced with poison. Bites him there, and it's very much like after she kills her, basically, her boss's henchman, and also proceeds to cut her hair and says, oh, no man will basically sleep with you because you have short hair. I'm like, really? She's still pretty. Yeah. What's wrong with a woman with short hair? Makes her a tomboy. Fights Manji in a very grueling battle. At one point, Manji loses his arm, despite the fact he's immortal. Eventually, thanks to Ren, and of course, the words she said to her that she's able to live. One of actually 2 people associated with this group actually to survive. A couple people they encounter are people who actually were there when Ren was killed. First one is basically a guy with spiky hair, who actually left the group because the main reason why, I guess, is revealed that Injanin, the group, the main bad guy group, has now become associated with the Shogun. And he's like, I don't want to associate with you guys anymore. I'm leaving. And Aaliyah's like, that's no problem. I'll keep this room in reserve for you. Because you want to keep her unhappy, which that's not typical for bad guys to do in this series. Normally, if a guy says they're leaving the group, usually they end up getting killed. This guy, nope. Apparently, also on the way there, this was, of course, after he encountered with Ren. Didn't exactly see her face. Which, of course, apparently he has his hands on her late father's sword. Which, of course, she still has, as episode 9. And apparently, on his way, being carried by one of these small carriage things. Basically, these long, probably small carriage. Yeah, one person can fit inside these things, not 2. And things look kind of cramped. It's like he has to be sitting cross-legged in order to sit in this damn thing. And these 2 guys are randomly trying to attack him. And of course, oh yeah, this other guy put this up to it. What was his leader? No, he had nothing to do with it at all. And of course, he walks off, and then later on, he has to fight with Moji over the sword, and Moji still lives. And this leads into, if I count, with another member of the group, which I'll get to. It deals with basically the Manji immortality. He gives him a sword. He's like, but wait, I want the scabbard too. He's like, fine, you can have the scabbard. And he walks off, and he lives. Makes him, at this point, the first person, aside from the woman. Woman came a little bit later in episode 9. This actually was episode, I believe it was 6, if I don't remember correctly. Yeah. Then, of course, they encounter... I think it was episode 5, because 6 and 7 is basically a two-parter. They encounter a monk, who actually was part of the group. Ren confirms this, and... well, it turns out he actually is immortal, just like Manji. Got the same worms. And it's also explored in his backstory that he's been alive for 200 years. And became immortal prior to a battle, apparently it was during the Warring States period, where his lord got killed, along with pretty much his wife, and pretty much this entire group he was associated with. He was the only survivor. He's also married 5 times, and, well, left mortal, and then apparently he dies at the end of episode 6. Well, actually, the guy who was speculated had episode 5, that happens in episode 7. Yeah, 8 is basically the woman, I believe so. Let me just check it to be sure, because I want to make sure I get the stuff in order. Excuse me. Yeah, his name is Tato, the guy who fought the Aristine Pierce. Yeah, he hates samurai because the samurai killed his sister when he was a child. Yep. And Maki, that's the name of the prostitute, she actually is voiced by Laura Bailey. Mm-hmm. Let's see. I'm trying to get this one correct here. Let's see. Okay, the Tato, that was episode 5. That was number 6 and 7. So yeah, 9 and 10 is another two-parter where they encounter... well... 10 is basically Arikandama, who was another member of the group. Well, apparently he's not associated much with the group anymore because he's a parent. Yes, here's the thing. He explains in the episode to Remy later on in the episode that his wife actually lived because of his violent lifestyle. Though when she died, the kid that came to him, and he decided to give up for him and became a street vendor. Of course, there's a festival in the episode, and of course, gives a mask. He also uses Manji's sword. Manji, of course, briefly comes in the scene, but after this, the rest of the episode, Ren encounters his son later on, saves him from being assaulted by some thugs, and of course, damaged sandal. And of course, she offers to volunteer to fix the sandal in exchange for not hurting the boy. He's resistant to it. The guy proceeds to, after taking the sandal, he proceeds to fill up her leg, and it's almost implied he wanted to basically put his foot near her groin. But luckily, she finished just in time before she can do it. And apparently, either she didn't notice it or probably knew he was doing it and just didn't care. Also, she shot without a sword, without her weapon. And then, of course, she encounters him, the guy later on, and of course discusses what happens to you at the end of the series. Well, the flashback episode 1. I gotta say, pretty good episodes. We're going slowly through it's almost like this series adapted maybe the first major story arc. But at this point, we only have about 3 more episodes left to go. And And that's pretty much it. Yeah, Maki is only in just episode 9. That's what she does anything. Yeah. Oh, by the way, the guy who encounters, it said somewhere. He's actually in 6 and 7. It's actually 8 and 9 deals with Maki, and 10 deals with Arya. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to discussing the final 3 episode series. So we only have 3 episodes left to go, and it'll be done. Yep. But yeah, that's pretty much it for review. Next, we have 2 comic corners, and then I'm basically next video you can see go up is going to be. It's going to be who's everyone's hanging out. Okay, next video. Bye.